Hey everyone. Um, so I'm going to share with you something that came up for me last night. And if I wouldn't have used the tools that I did, then I could have ended up doing something that would have been very hard to recreate. Um, it would have set me back. So, um, give you a little bit of a history here. There are patterns that we have, some of us, some of us, a lot of us actually. There are patterns that we have in our life where around being able to create a life that we love, being able to create career opportunities, being able to create businesses that we want to build, being able to create long lasting relationships that we want to have, that we desire to have. All of those creation points can be impacted by our inability to think that we have our limiting beliefs around being able to create them for ourselves. And potentially even sabotaging patterns where we do things thinking it's the right thing that we need to do, and it ends up harming the progress of what we've created so far. So, and I've posted a few things in my Instagram and in my Facebook today around that, and in Telegram. But I want to share with you something that came up for me personally, because I have these same patterns, and I'm becoming more aware of them. So it's helping me, but because when you are aware of your patterns, you don't have to follow them. You don't have to follow them. That's the power of understanding patterns and being able to pinpoint the ones that you have a habit of doing, and being able to notice the tricky little things the brain does to mask whether or not it's the same pattern or not. So, yesterday something came up, and I started reflecting on the direction of my business and where I wanted to take it. It's not surprising to me that that's what I'm doing because next, or like Thursday, so tomorrow we enter the waning quarter moon, and that is our upper chakras, where we are looking at our big picture, our vision for our life, and reflecting on that. And so lots of times I will start doing that naturally as I go into that week, so that I am more prepared for the lessons that I'm showing within that week around those big visions, and how to align myself in a faster way. But we talk about that lots in Soul Circle. So if you want to know more about Soul Circle, shameless plug here, just message me and I'll get you some information. So, long story short, I had some thoughts that I needed to completely go a different direction on one aspect of my business, and I was this close to pulling the plug on that part of the business And when I went to go do it, something inside of me said pause. Something inside of me said, hold on, think this through. Are you sure you want to do this? And now this isn't the first time that this has happened to me. This is not the first time this has happened to me, and it's not the first time that it's happened to me regarding this part of my business. And every time before I pull the plug, I'm told, hold on. And so I started exploring whether or not I was holding on to that part of my business because I was too scared to let it go, or if, in other words, I was sabotaging my business by holding on to it, or was I going to sabotage my business and the potential growth that it could have if I did pull that plug. And so I started to journal, and my brain shut down. And I started to feel into it, and I started to feel into it some more, and I actually felt into it using my lower chakras, because at this point I was really up in my head. And when you're up in your head, even though you may get intuitive direction from your feminine energy, from your intuition, when you're up in your head, you aren't trusting that information. So even though I somehow knew to stop and to reflect on this, I was starting to not trust the information that I was given. So I started seeking out direction towards other people. That's like sign number one. Now, thankfully, I have a trusted fellow coach that I go to, who's very intuitive, and she got a couple downloads that confirmed why I had to pause. But that not everybody has that person. Not everybody has that go-to person that they know can give you a non-judgmental, non-bias advice, and that is not going to be harmful for your decision that you're going to make. So anyway, I had this discussion with her today, and sure enough, my first instinct to hold off, because my brain was telling me a completely different reversed situation, was correct. It was correct. So my brain was telling me one thing, and if I would have followed it, I would have actually sabotaged my business. But because I listened to my instinct and felt that I actually was mindful enough at that point to feel into how it was making me feel. And when I went to go pull the plug on that part of my business, I felt off. I didn't feel aligned. It didn't feel right to me. And that subtlety, that subtle something's not right here, was enough to make me pause and go, what's behind that? What is behind the misalignment? Where is the misalignment? Is the misalignment in me actually keeping that part of my business? Or is the misalignment in me wanting to axe that part of my business? Get rid of part of that business. And my brain wanted to tell me that the misalignment was that part of the business, but the misalignment was me wanting to get rid of it. The misalignment was the fact that my brain was trying to sabotage my business because there is fear there in creating something with that part of the business that could be very good, that could actually be where the gold is. And I just realized that right in this moment. So that's why I had to do this video. And interesting enough, we were at the 11:11 mark, right about when, around there, when, yeah, nothing is coincidence. So, do you have patterns around creativity? Do you have patterns about how you're creating your life? Do you have patterns about being able to create the life that you love that are limiting you? That are you sabotaging parts of your life or parts of your business or parts of your relationship unknowingly because there's something in you that in your brain that believes that you can't do it? You know, it's interesting because, you know, what I was showing through all of this is that, and this relates to the posts that I've been posting, and I have one more, or another one, probably more coming, because this is a huge one for people. But one small aspect as women, we grew up probably around women that were complaining about their menstrual period, or around men who were complaining about women's PMS, their hormones all over the place, or both women and men complaining about it all, right? And not only did that create like an energy where we hated our own menstrual cycle, we hated our own hormones that we had during all of this. We also created possible harmful environments, hostile environments for our menstrual cycle, and possibly even during pregnancies, because, you know, as women, our menstrual cycles, our hormones are our powerful creative forces. And if we hate that part of ourselves, then we're basically telling our brains that we hate being creative. Whoa. That was huge. That was huge for me. That was very huge for me. And so, you know, and I'm a woman who had adenomyosis and ended up with a partial hysterectomy. I've got a whole family of women that probably had adenomyosis and definitely had partial hysterectomies. Menstrual issues are a huge thing in my family. Guess what I heard growing up? Oh, I hate having my period. Oh, it's Aunt Flo week. Great, the PMS is happening again. Oh, look, the hormones. Do you need some chocolate with that hormone? Like, seriously. Then I wondered why when I went to go create something in my brain would go, no, you're not doing it right. There's a better way. There's a better way. And, here's another big one. Have you ever had a pregnancy or, where it was not planned? Unplanned pregnancies. Oopsies. I've had 2 miscarriages. And those miscarriages were probably because of the hostile environment my uterus was. I had 3 beautiful babies, 2 miscarriages. But I also, whether you are, and those miscarriages could very well have been messages to my brain to telling me that, look, you tried to create something and you failed. That's stuck energy too. Right? When you are the product of an oopsie or an unplanned pregnancy, your brain, and you hear about that all the time, your brain is all of a sudden thinking that, well, you weren't created on purpose, so what makes you think that you can actually create anything on purpose? See, this is how the brain works. Brain's tricky. The brain doesn't care what the one thing looked like. It just knows what it feels like. And then it relates common things that feel that in relation to that. So the word creation. Ooh, well, she's a creative being. She creates things. But she wasn't created on purpose. It's linked. It's all energy. How do you get out of it? When you notice the patterns, you shift back into your inner power. When you notice the patterns, you shift back into your inner power. And when you do that consistently and don't follow the same pathway of sabotage and believing that you can't create, you alchemize that energy and create new neural pathways that help you do what you want to do, help you create the life that you want to create, because you are a creative being. We all are. Okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox now. Have a great day. Be simply you.